Hey there everyone, Boys89 here, and welcome back to my Shaddoll Penguin deck profile updated for the July 2015 format. Yeah, I've made quite a few changes to this after getting it in real life, because it's an in real life deck profile over Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro 1. And yeah, if you want to just net deck the deck, the dev profile is down in the description. Just go there and download it. If you need help getting it onto your game, there's plenty of tutorials online. I'm sure you can find one if you just type it into YouTube. And yeah, feel free to use my deck, but if there's one thing I ask of you is please give credit to where it's due. If there's anything I want to take credit for in this game, it is definitely this deck, because I just love this deck. It is, like I said, my favorite deck. I've actually started maining it in real life, and it's been working fantastically. So without further ado, let's just get on into the deck profile. Let's start off with 3 Shaddoll Beast, great card, no reason to run it less than 3. 3 Squamata. I would have this at 2 because I only play the 1 dragon in this deck, but I only have 1 dragon right now. But the second I get a second one, Squamata is going to 2, and I'm going to get that 3rd dragon in, or 2nd dragon in. 2 Hedgehog, 2 Falco, and like I said, the 1 dragon. There's so many situations where I wish I had a 2nd dragon over a Squamata that's pretty dead in my deck. Yeah, that is that. That's the Shaddoll lineup, pretty standard. And let's just go on into Triple Mathematician. Now, this is one of the things that bind the 2 decks, Shaddoll and Penguin, together, because this can either go for a Penguin play first turn, or Shaddoll play first turn, and it's really good because if your opponent doesn't know what you're playing, you send Penguin with this and they're like, oh, okay, but then you set a Shaddoll monster, and they won't see that coming, and vice versa. And that's really one of the powers of this deck. If they see one of the cards from either archetype, they're both flip effect archetypes, so you could use either of them and just trick your opponent. And this deck is all mind games. It's like, is that a Penguin? Is that a Shaddoll monster? I don't know. I don't want to attack into that Penguin soldier. And they flip it up and it's a Shaddoll Falco or something. So yeah. Anyways, on to some light targets. Triple Veiler. Veiler in the main deck has been phenomenal. This deck card is pretty amazing because you can use it in your hand, you can use it for fusion summons. It's just a very versatile monster, and it's also a tuner. There's not many situations to where it's useful, but it surprises me sometimes. For other light targets, we have 1 Felice. I don't actually have my Felice on me right now. My friend's using my Felice, so for now we just have back of a Yu-Gi-Oh cover. But yeah, that's Felice, Archer of the Lightsworn. Now we have our Penguin engine. The big boy himself, triple Nopenguin. I love this card. Love this card. It's pretty much the MVP of the Penguin archetype. Even more so than Penguin Soldier, because without him, Penguin Soldier is pretty obsolete. But again, without Penguin Soldier, he's obsolete. I just feel like this is the reason why the Penguin archetype works, in both in this deck and in just in general. And yeah, it's so fun to use. Great thing to ditch from the deck, from the hand. It's really one thing you just always want to see in your graveyard. And to help abuse that card, we have triple Penguin Soldier and double Nightmare Penguin. Penguin Soldier, 2 monsters to the hand, but then with no Penguin they get banished. It's amazing. And then with Nightmare Penguin you could hit back row, hit Pendulum Scales, and they're just both pretty awesome. And yeah, that is the Penguin lineup, and 1 Blackluster Soldier to round off our monster cap at 27. Yeah, it's a pretty hefty monster count, but it's a Shaddoll deck, and all the cards in here pretty much get themselves back in resource, so it's good to play a lot of monsters. Anyways, on to the spell cards. I took out the upstarts and the 1 Day of Peace because, ironically, they actually made the deck much less consistent, and the cards I've put in have been so much better. So starting off, we have triple Shaddoll Fusion and triple El Shaddoll Fusion. Originally, I only had 2 Shaddoll Fusions in this deck, but honestly, with the amount of monsters I have, I just need to get to Shaddoll Fusion as fast as possible. So putting as many of them as I can really helps with that. And yeah. Then our one-ofs, we have Allure of Darkness, Raigeki, and Foolish Burial. These cards are just great. Helps you get off plays, get rid of monsters, and just get into draw power. And yeah, there's no reason not to play these cards. And now we have our last 4 cards, which are trap cards. We have Shaddoll Core, really good. Dump with Construct, get a spell back. Scissor Shadow Games. It's no longer good to be played at 3, but definitely deserves a spot in the deck. I'm never gonna make a deck without it, or a Shaddoll deck without it. Now, I have taken out Burst Rebirth, because I feel like the 2000 hefty cost was a bit much, and in its place, I put Solemn Warning. You still pay that 2000 cost, but the effect is much better, and it's actually become a lot more clutch. And finally, Jar of Avarice. This is a card I kind of was testing out, and it's been great because you could like reset so many cards in your deck because it isn't limited to monsters like its predecessor. You could hit cards, you could reset your Solemn Warnings, reset some Shaddoll Fusions, Raigeki, all those like powerful cards, Black Luster Soldier, your Shaddoll Beasts, Veilers. You could pretty much hit everything in deck, even extra deck monsters. So this is just great, extra draw power, get things back from your deck, recycle, and yeah, it's just an amazing card, and I'm glad I've used it, and that pretty much caps up the main deck. So let's just get on to the extra deck. We have triple El Shaddoll Construct, untouched on the ban list. Honestly, I would put this down to 2 if I had another Annoyatelis, because I have never actually gone into the 3rd one. But yeah, because most of the times the game is over by then. But yeah, El Shaddoll Construct, probably the best boss monster, and easily the best El Shaddoll in this deck. Great card, good to get over a lot of threats you face. And yeah, Company Hers are best friend Winda. We play 2 El Shaddoll Winda. We play 2 of these just because 2 is a great ratio. You never want to go into 3. You barely go into 2, but when you do, it's totally worth it because this is like your opponent has to jump through a few hoops to get rid of this because it can't just Raigeki it. It's gonna have to try to do something, and with only 1 special summon, they have limited ways to actually do it, which is great. 1 Shekanaga, great against a lot of rogue decks, also great against certain matchups if you just keep it in defense position. Some cards have to get over it by using those effects, and at that point she can use her effects, so they have to go through quite a bit of track just to get rid of her, which is great. Of course, Raigeki's still a thing, so that's always discerning. Just be like, okay, Raigeki, damn. And the 1 Annoyatelis, like I said, if I had 2, I would get 2, and this is really the glue that binds these 2 decks together. This, coupled with Mathematician, pretty much makes this deck work. Because I could just dump from the graveyard, Nopenguins, set up the plays, I'll set at the same time, setting up my Shaddoll plays, which is awesome. And yeah, like I said, if I had more, I would play more. Great against the Necros matchup, and I go into it pretty much every game. Alright, and on to Synchro lineup. We have just a pretty basic Synchro lineup with Armades, Goyo Guardian, Yazzie, and Leo. I feel like that's a pretty basic Synchro lineup for Shaddolls, and there's really nothing much to talk about. They're all great cards, and I've come into clutch a lot. Alright, on to the last 4 cards, which are XYZs. We have Evil Swarming Cyton Knights, Castell, and instead of the Holy Trinity of these 2 Cowboy, I've opted to go for Daigasto Emerald in this deck for similar reasons to Jar of Avarice. It's just a great card because you could just reset your deck like Jar of Avarice can, and I feel like this is a lot better in the deck than Cowboy would be because most times you and your opponent you go for big attacks and you don't really just go Cowboy for game. Because you don't go into rank 4 as often, but when you do, you have plenty of option and versatility here. And our final card is a rank 5. This is Idris, Keeper of Armageddon. I don't have a Durandal right now. I actually traded my Durandal, so when I do, I'm going to switch them out. But for now, our Idris is actually working very well because she's just a really good card. Get over some key threats, detach a window, get your Shaddoll Fusion back. Not to mention she's 2600, so that's really nothing to scoff at. And yeah, that is the deck profile. I hope you really enjoyed because I really enjoy this deck. And like I said, feel free to use this deck. Just make sure to give credit to where it's due. This has been Penguin Shaddolls. This is Blue Eyes White Dragonite signing out.